Hi guys, welcome to this module on a basic project plan. What I've got here is some tasks, and what I'm going to do is link these tasks up first of all. I'm just going to move this dividing line, which I'm going to call the curtain, move it to the right, and then that exposes the predecessors column, and that's where I'm going to type. So, test software room 1 follows install software room, so I'm going to put the task number in there, which is 2. Train on software room 1 follows test, so that's a 3, and then room 1 complete follows train, so that's a 4. 2, 3, 4, and I get a set of steps on this side. I'm just going to miss this one out at the moment because install software room 2 is not dependent on room 1 being complete, so I shall come back to that. Next one, test software room 2 follows install software room 2, so that's a 6. Train on room 2, software room 2 is a 7, and room 2 complete is an 8. 6, 7, 8, so 2 sets of steps. And project complete is going to follow the 2 milestones, which is room 1 complete and room 2 complete, so that is 5, 9. Back to this one. This scenario, I'm going to say that the chief engineer, when the chief engineer turns up to install this software, he dictates when this whole project goes. This cannot start until this starts. So the driver is this task, install software room 1. I'm going to type it out first, and I'll show you where I got that information from. So I'm going to still type 2, so it's linking with task 2, but it's going to be an SS, start to start. So when I click away from that, you'll see the line, the arrow coming out of the start of install software room 1 into the start with the arrow head pushing install software room 2. And if I delayed that task and just move it to Monday, for example, it just pushes the whole second set of tasks forward. These ones are follow on, so they moved anyhow. Just do undo for that. Now the reason I can type 2SS is if I double click onto that task and look at the predecessors tab, on the type column, if I drop the arrow down there, it gives you the 4 different types of tasks. Finish to start is the default. Now you don't need to put the FS on the task like I did SS unless you are going to put lead or lag time. The next one is the SS, and then you've got FF and SF. So I'm just going to do the other 2 so you can see how they work. I'm just going to do it down the bottom here. Task A, task B, and then task C, task D. Each of these is a 1-day task. So the finish to finish one, I'm going to type 12FF because I've had a look now, so I know you can type FF. And then the arrow comes from the finish of task A and points to the finish of task B. So if I move task A or delay task A, say to Tuesday, the finish of task B will also be Tuesday. Now a scenario for this would be if that was install plug sockets in a room and this was test plug sockets in the room, this task B can't finish until task A is finished. So task A will dictate when that can finish. Now in real life there may be a bit of a delay on that, so I'll just show you how to do that. I'm going into task B and I'm going to the lag column and I'm going to put 1H in there, a delay of 1 hour, and then you can see it on there. And because this is an 8-hour day, that's gone on to the next day. So in real life you'd probably be working with hours and that wouldn't flick over to the second day. Now the other one is a start to finish. One task dictates when the next one can finish. So in this example I'm going to type 15SF and it's going to ask me if I want to move this task before the start date. Yes, I do for this example, and you get the start of task C driving or dictating when the end of task D can happen. If I pull that forward into next week, it pulls it with task C pulls task D with it. Now, a scenario, this could be a milestone where you're handing over specific stuff and you want everything just in time ready. This is like a just in time delivery type task. If I'm not ready, this is not ready to go, this can't finish. I did some training, some Outlook training, and the way it went was, as the person turned up for the training, IT installed the new version of Outlook on their machines. If they didn't turn up, it was delayed, they didn't install the software. So that's the start to finish link. Do one more task, 5 days, and task F, 5 days. I'm going to link these two together, just type in 18 in there. So that's just a follow on. So in this scenario, if task E was paint the undercoat in a room and task F was paint the second coat in a room, do I need to wait full 5 days before I can start painting the second coat? So this is where I'm going to show you how to do a bit of lead time. So I'm double clicking in there to show you where this is. So lead would be a minus number in the lag column, so I'm going to put minus 4D just to show you how that would work. And then this sort of doubles back a little bit. So we're saying there that after 1 day of painting, the first part of that is dry enough to start doing the second coat. A different way of doing that link would be to do this. 18 SS plus 1. And then you have the start of painting the undercoat dictates when the second coat will start, and that is probably how it is in real life, because you if you don't start doing the undercoat, you can't do the overcoat, if you like. So it's got to be driven by task E, and that's showing you lead and lag. Now another task H, 5-day task. This task I want to use the split tool. So on the task tab you have the split tool under the scheduling group. I'll click the split tool, I position my cursor on the task and then slide forward until I see the date that I want to split from. Now I'm holding my mouse down, I get 2 dates. So when I'm ready to let go, so if I take this to next Tuesday, I shall let go there, and I've split that task. That's something that the computer sometimes does when you level tasks, but it's also something you can do manually. So you could have a resource on this task, and then you want to split a task because you've put them on a task that sits in between there. That way they won't go over allocated. It's just a tool that you can use, and the computer often does that when you do leveling. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of these loose tasks. So that's task types. Now what I want to do is quickly go to the resource sheet and do a couple of resources. So I'll do Bill, Ben and Anne, and I'll do Microsoft Office, computers and paper as resources. So Microsoft Office I'm going to put to material, and I'm going to give it a material label of MSO, which is what will appear on the Gantt chart if I have that selected. PCs for computers, I need to change that to material first. PCs for computers, and paper, it also needs to be material. I'm going to put that to pack. Now there are 3 types of resource: a work resource, a material resource, and a cost resource. I'm just going to look at these two for now. Under the group section for work resources, I can put things like trainer, engineer, and manager. If they're at 100%, they're available 100% of the time. Their wages, £10 an hour, £15 for overtime. All 3 of them are on the same rate. Highly unlikely, but there you go. In terms for cost for this, every time we use Microsoft Office, it's going to cost us £100. Every time we use a computer, it's going to cost us £100, and every time we use paper, a pack of paper, it's going to cost us £1. Cost per use column can be used if you've got a fixed cost. You just want to add that in against the resource, prorated, and basic calendar for, or base calendar for the 3 resources. So just leave that as it is. Going back to my Gantt chart, now I want to assign resources. On to the resource tab, assign resources, and then it's as simple as this. I'll just move that so you can see it populating there. If I click on install software room 1 and say Anne is doing that, she needs 1 computer and she uses, say, a pack of paper per hour. So this is how you show that, 1/ per hour. That should change to £8. And then test software room 1, let's say that's going to be Bill and Ben. They need 2 computers and 2 Microsoft Office licenses, so I'll just change that to 2. Assign Microsoft Office, change that to 2. And you can see the price changing there. And paper, assign paper. And they're going to use 2 packs per hour. So that should go up to 16. And then training room 1, that's going to be Bill. And he doesn't need anything other than himself. And that is the process of assigning resources. Now, if you assign somebody and they go red like this, if I put Anne, says Anne is already on that task. If I put Anne on there, I get a red man or a red human symbol appearing in the information column, which should tell me straight away that I can't really do that, so I will take her off. But sometimes you don't see that. You have a different table displayed and that column's not displayed, so you might not see that, and you may have to get the computer to fix it later on. But if I just put her back on, you would see that if you went to the resource sheet, she would be red. So you can't leave anybody red, you have to fix the problem. So if I take Anne off that so we don't have that problem, and then I'm now ready in this little example. I'm happy with what I've got there. In fact, before I do that, let me just have a quick look at the cost. So I'll go to the view, table, cost. So this project is costing me £844. I'm ready to save a baseline because that's my plan. So I go to the project tab and I go set baseline, set baseline. And as soon as I click OK to this baseline column will update. So that's like a snapshot in time. I'm ready to go, so we're going live with this project. So what I want to be doing now is updating this project, and although this is the table and the view I've been working in, a better view would be to get into the tracking Gantt and the tracking table. So there's the tracking Gantt. If I click onto that, the same information. I've just lost all my Gantt chart icons, so I'll just scroll to them. The difference is now you've got a small charcoal coloured bar, which is the baseline plan. So just move that back across there a bit. I'm going to change this table to the tracking table. View, tables, tracking. It's got some additional information, but I want to amend it slightly. I don't want that column, physical complete, so I'm going to hide that. And what I want to do is insert the baseline start column. So baseline start, and I want to insert the baseline finish and the baseline duration. Baseline finish, wherever that is, baseline finish and baseline duration. The reason I'm doing that is so I have some information to look at in this table, so I know when things were due, and then I can see the variance and the difference as I'm updating the plan. So this is how you do it. It's not the only place to do this, but it's what I prefer. If you say this is supposed to start on Friday, let's say this is delayed straight away, so it didn't start on Friday, it started on Monday. As soon as you do that, your plan moves off the initial baseline, you can see that. And I try and advise people not to use the percentage complete option, because if you just go 10, 15, 20, 50% complete all the time and then 100% complete, it basically means that your plan was correct. Its duration for your plan was correct, and there was no variance on it. So it's more accurate to say what the actual duration was in either in this case in days or hours or whatever your preference is. So I'm going to say this took 2 days, and as soon as I do that, it goes to 100% complete. But you can see the bar is now extended. And if I did that on Install Software Room 1, because those two tasks are linked, Software Room 1 and 2, I shall just update that one as well. So actual durations on that will be 2 days, and it will fill everything in for me. Now on Test Software Room 1, I'm going to say it's taken 3 days and there are 2 days left, so a big over or underestimation of how long that would take, and I'll do the same for that one. So as you fill it in like this, you can see the percentage complete changing to reflect what you're typing. Now if this was a longer project, you could save another baseline, take another snapshot, and you can have multiple baselines to look at. But for now, that's all I want to do. I want to have a quick look at reports. So I'm going to go to reports. Now I've created my own reports in the past where they would sit under recent or custom reports. So you can create your own reports. But for this example, I'm just going to go and look at some of the preset ones. So I'll have a look at the cost overview report. So that tells me what my costs are. So the baseline cost was there. I've already gone past that. And then I'm going to have a look at a different one. I'll look at the dashboard for resources, resource overview. So this tells me actual work and remaining work for each resource that's in the list. And then I've got some information down the bottom there. Now to create your own report, it's quite a simple process, but sometimes it can be slightly frustrating identifying where the information is. So you go new reports, you've got these choices of selecting any of these. I'm just going to pick a blank one because you can edit them and add those charts if you want afterwards. So there's a blank piece of paper, and I'm going to click on the table option, and it comes up with a summary. And then if I click on this side, I can have a look at what's being shown there. So do I want the name, the title? Yes, I do, but I don't want that, so I'm just going to remove that field, and I'm going to remove that field, and then make this a bit smaller maybe, and just push this up at the top. Okay, and then now I do want a chart, so I'll get a chart. I'll just get the first one, the default chart. And what is that showing me? That is showing me the hours worked, actual work, so I quite like that one. I might get another table. And now this table is the same as what I had before, but I'll put it over there. What I didn't do before is use the filters. So you've got group by, you've got all tasks, and you've got project summary. So if I put all subtasks, for example, that just shows me everything and the status of all the tasks, whether they're complete or not. And I think I quite like that, so I'm going to leave that like that. So that's my quick attempt at a customized report. It's not perfect, and there are lots of different options that you can create there, and you can create as many reports as you like. Whatever you need to report on, you can create. So if I want that report very quickly, it should be either in recent or in custom. Either way, there it is, and it is a live report. It's linked to this data. So if I decided, if I go back to the tracking Gantt, if I decided to update some more of this, so I'll say, let's say that did take 1 day, and that did take 0 days, and that did take 1 day, and that. Okay, so this is not complete, so I'll put that to 5 days. So I'll just complete this project, put that to 5 days. I'm 99% complete. I don't know where I've got the 1% from. 100%, 100%. It's these milestones, that's all. Put these milestones as 100%, and then it comes up with the date, and that should be complete. I am now complete. So if I run the report, custom Steve, 100% complete. And that's a very, very quick example or explanation of a very, very basic Microsoft project plan. Creating task lists, linking them up, creating resources, adding the resources, saving a baseline, updating the tracking part of project, which is the bit that people tend not to want to do because they've put too many tasks down and there is too big an admin burden for them, and then running reports on that. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you for your time.